There are things happening in this world that you aren't even aware of, invisible currents swirling between heaven and earth, bringing blessings or challenges depending on how each soul receives them. You might think that only what you see and hear is reality, but there are far greater wonders beyond your understanding, even in your own home, within those familiar walls. In that space you think is so ordinary, something important is happening, something that, if you recognize it, will flood the place with my blessing, transforming everything. There are doors that seem locked tight, but just a moment of awakening is all it takes for them to swing wide open and let the light pour in. There are barren lands, seemingly unable to produce anything, but just a drop of water from above will make everything spring to life, lush and green. In the same way, there are souls who've forgotten my presence, led astray by the storms of this world, but just a sincere word, a true understanding, and I'll come immediately and dwell there. Do you know that I long to enter your home? Not as a guest, not as some distant figure in stories you've heard, but as the ever-present one, the living God who is active and working. Have you ever wondered why some homes are filled with peace, while others are constantly in chaos? Why some families are always protected, while others seem shrouded in darkness? It's not because I play favorites, or because some people are special in a way others aren't, but because some have opened their hearts to receive me, to let my blessings overflow. But that blessing isn't something you can grasp with your physical hands. It's not something you can buy or trade like goods at a market. It's something that can only come when you understand a profound principle, a principle that, if you truly grasp it, will bring change not only to your home, but to your very soul, to everything you touch, to every step you take. Do you think that everything in this world simply operates according to natural laws, that what happens in your life is random, without any design? If that's what you believe, then you don't truly understand the nature of my kingdom and how my blessings are poured out. Nothing in your life is meaningless. Not one of your steps goes unseen. Not one of your prayers is ignored. But there's something you haven't realized. Blessing isn't just something I give. It's a collaboration, a partnership with you. Blessing can't overflow if you don't have room to receive it. It can't take root if you don't create an environment for it to flourish. A seed, no matter how good, can't sprout if it's buried in barren, rocky soil. And a fire, no matter how strong, can't burn where it's flooded with cold water. Have you ever felt like something's holding things back in your home, in your family, endless arguments, crushing anxieties, things you can't put your finger on, but that leave you feeling uneasy, as if there's an invisible wall blocking the flow of peace and joy? That doesn't just happen by accident. Think about it. Has your home become a place filled with the chaotic noise of the world, but lacking the call of the sacred? Have you spent so much time worrying about material things, about what's fleeting, that you haven't opened your soul to receive the divine? You can't expect the wind from heaven to blow in if the door to your heart remains closed. There are things that seem small, but have the power to change an entire reality. The words you speak each day, the mood you bring into your home, the way you treat your family members, these all determine whether that home becomes a place where blessing dwells. A word filled with resentment can become the seed of destruction, but a word filled with love can open the door to healing. A bitter attitude can hinder blessing, but a grateful heart will cause grace to overflow. If you let worry and doubt take over your mind, you're creating a wall between you and the good things I want to give you. You need to understand that blessing isn't just good things happening to you from the outside. It's a flow that comes from my very presence in your life. When I am there, there will be life. When I dwell there, darkness will be banished. When you allow me to enter your space, I don't just come to stand still. I transform everything. The wounds in your soul will be healed. Problems that seem unsolvable will find answers. Even things you don't dare to dream of will be accomplished in ways you can't imagine. But the only condition is that you know how to let me do it. There's a difference between knowing about me and truly living in relationship with me. You may have heard a lot about the things I've done, about the miracles I've performed, but that doesn't mean you're living in the reality of blessing. Many people believe that I exist, but don't let me influence their lives. They think that simply praying, simply wishing is enough. But they don't understand that I'm not just someone you come to when you need help, but someone who wants to walk alongside you every day. If you only come to me when you're in trouble, but push me aside during ordinary moments, blessing can't overflow completely. You can't expect to receive light if you keep choosing to stay in the dark. Stop and think. Is there something in your home, in your life, that's keeping me from pouring out my blessing fully? Are there things that you think are harmless, but are actually obstacles hindering me? What thoughts, habits, or daily choices are leading you away from my presence? A house may be built of brick and stone, but what makes up its soul isn't the walls, but what happens inside them. If you want your house to be a place where blessing dwells, you need to let me be at the center of it. Blessing isn't a treasure buried in some faraway place that you have to find, nor is it a reward only for a lucky few. Blessing is always there, always waiting to be poured out. But are you ready to receive it? Are you willing to let go of the things that are holding you back? To open your heart wide? Have you ever wondered why some places always seem to be filled with peace, while others are surrounded by conflict, anxiety, and unhappiness? Have you ever felt that in the same space, some homes always radiate warmth, while others, though materially abundant, are strangely cold? That's not coincidence, nor is it just due to external circumstances. What makes the difference are the invisible things, the things that happen in the souls of the people who live there. If you want my blessing to flood your home, you need to understand that it doesn't come from things outside, but from the way you live, from what you allow to exist in your space. There are homes filled with harsh voices, with criticism and negativity. There are places where people live but don't really connect, each immersed in their own world, no longer caring for or understanding each other. Their families are always stressed, where anger and disagreement become part of everyday life. When those things dwell there, how can blessing come? How can light shine into a place where darkness has sunk deep into every thought and feeling? But there are also homes where love, forgiveness, and compassion are always present, where people treat each other not with sharp words, but with gentleness and understanding, where difficulties don't become barriers, but opportunities to connect and share. And it's in places like that that I am fully present. You can't expect blessing if you still hold onto the things that hinder it. A soul full of resentment can't receive peace. A family full of bitter words can't hope for harmony. A home that only cares about the fleeting things of the world can't become a place where I dwell. You want blessing to flood your home, but are you ready to receive it? Have you cleared out what doesn't belong to me? A room can only receive light when the door is opened, and a home can only receive blessing when the hearts of the people in it are willing to let go of the things that are holding them back. There are things that seem small, but have the power to determine the atmosphere of a home. A gentle word can melt away an entire day of stress. An act of love can change a hardened heart. A sincere forgiveness can free a whole family from the burden of the past. And when those things are present, I will be present. When love and honesty dwell, my blessing will pour out, and nothing can stop it. I don't just want blessing to come to the space where you live. I also want to renew your very soul, because ultimately, you can live in a house with everything you could want, but if your soul is empty, how can you feel true joy? Conversely, no matter what the external circumstances, if you have my presence in you, you will always have a peace that the world can't take away. But don't mistake blessing to mean there will be no challenges. Don't think that when I come, all difficulties immediately disappear. No, blessing isn't the absence of unwanted things, but the power to overcome them. A house can face storms, but if it's built on a solid foundation, it will still stand firm. A family can face setbacks, but if I am in the midst, nothing can destroy it. The difference between a house with blessing and a house without it isn't in the things that happen on the outside, but in how it faces the challenges. When I am with you, everything will have meaning, even things that seem like loss. When I am with you, you will never have to face anything alone. There are people who seek blessing as if they're looking for hidden treasure somewhere, But they don't realize that blessing isn't in those faraway places, but right in the things they choose each day. Every word you speak, every action you take, every thought you nurture, all contribute to shaping the reality you're living in. If you sow seeds of love, you'll reap the fruits of peace. If you sow bitterness, you'll get the same in return. You can't expect a house full of blessing if you keep sowing the things that make it impossible for me to stay. But if you start to change, if you start to create a space for me, you'll see what happens. Think about what's going on in your home. What are the relationships like in your family? Do the words you speak each day give life or take away joy? Is your soul opening to receive my guidance? Or are you still busy with other things? You don't have to do anything too big to see change. Just start with the small things. Just give me a place in your life. Just put your faith in me, and you will see the difference. Blessing isn't something foreign. It's already there, just waiting for you to be ready to receive it. And when you truly understand this, when you truly live by this, you will see my blessing flood your home in ways you never imagined. Have you ever realized that every word, every thought, every action of yours leaves an invisible mark on the house you live in? Not just what you see with your eyes, but also what you don't see. The atmosphere of the house, the feeling of the people who live there, the flow of love or coldness, all are the result of what you sow each day. You need to understand that it can't be present where there is suspicion, resentment, selfishness, or lies. A house may be built of brick and stone, but its soul is built with what you put into it. The words you speak, the decisions you make, the emotions you nurture. There are places that, from the moment you walk in, you feel a strange warmth, as if something is embracing you, bringing you peace and tranquility. But there are also places, no matter how grand and luxurious, still carry an invisible heaviness that makes people feel lost and distant. My blessing isn't something you can see with the naked eye, but you can feel it in the atmosphere of a family, in the eyes of the people who live there, in the way they treat each other. When I am present, everything changes. When I enter, darkness cannot exist. When I dwell there, old, decaying things must retreat to make way for new life, new joy. But I can't impose my presence on a place where I'm not welcome. You can call on my name, but if your heart doesn't really want me to stay, your words are just empty sounds. Conversely, if you open your heart and allow me to enter, you will see change happen even if you can't understand everything. Do you know what makes a place a sanctuary, a space a sacred place? It's not the walls or the roof, but the presence of hearts that fear the sacred. A house doesn't become a place where I dwell by accident. It must be prepared, must be preserved, must be dedicated, not with outward rituals, but with the very love, honesty, and forgiveness between those who live there. If in a family everyone thinks about their own benefit, keeping their hurts and anger to themselves, how can blessing come? If a house is only full of negative words, bitter thoughts, and selfish actions, how can it become a place where I am present? Conversely, if you want blessing to flood your home, start by changing how you look at things. Don't think that you need to wait for some miracle to happen to feel my presence. Look at what you already have. Cherish the people around you. Change the way you talk, the way you listen, the way you forgive. When you stop seeing life through the lens of hurt and start seeing through the lens of gratitude, you will see a wonderful change. A sincere thank you can break down the invisible wall of indifference. A small loving gesture can soothe anger. A sincere forgiveness can free you from the burden of the past. And when these things are present, I will be present. When love and honesty dwell, my blessing will pour out and nothing can stop it. There are people who think they need to do great things to get blessing, but don't forget that it is the small things that are the foundation of difference. If you start a day with resentment, that whole day will be covered in darkness. But if you start with a prayer, a positive thought, a loving action, you will see that day become different. Your home is not just a place to sleep, but a place where your soul is nourished. If you only fill it with worries, competition, and busyness, you will only reap emptiness. But if you fill it with holiness, with gratitude, with moments of true connection with your loved ones, you will see my blessing constantly flow. There are people who seek peace by running away from where they live, thinking that if they go somewhere else, if they have another house, if they change their circumstances, everything will be better. But remember that peace is not in what is outside, but in how you receive and keep it. If your soul isn't ready, if your heart hasn't opened to receive transformation, no matter where you are, you will still bring the same old problems. But if you let me transform you from within, if you truly let me be the master of your home, no matter where you live, you will bring blessing with you. I don't promise that you will never face challenges, but I promise that if you let me be with you, you will never have to face anything alone. A house can stand firm not because it doesn't encounter storms, but because its foundation is strong. A family can overcome any difficulty not because they have no conflicts, but because they know how to hold on to each other, know how to forgive, know how to come to me in times when there seems to be no way out. If you let me be the center, no matter what happens, your home will still be a place of peace, a place where blessing never runs out. My blessing doesn't come like a sudden miracle, but it's the result of what you nurture in your heart each day. If you sow truth, you will reap peace. If you sow love, you will reap happiness. If you sow faith, you will reap strength. Don't look for blessing in the distance because it has always been with you, just waiting for you to open your heart to receive it. And if you truly understand this, if you truly live by this, you will see my blessing flood your home more than you can imagine. Have you ever thought that a home is not just where you live, but also a mirror reflecting your soul? Every action, every thought, every word of yours echoes in the atmosphere there, leaving traces invisible but more powerful than anything tangible. When you come home after a long day, what do you feel? A warmth, a joy spreading, or a dull melancholy weighing on every step? Because you don't just live in a house, but the house also lives in you. If you know how to let the light of blessing envelop this space, you will feel the change clearly not only outside, but also from deep within your soul. My blessing is not a fleeting feeling, nor is it a reward only for those who don't make mistakes. My blessing is inner strength. It is presence that can transform everything that seems immutable. There are people who live in magnificent houses, but their souls are barren and empty. There are also people in small, simple houses, but full of laughter and happiness. So what makes the difference? It's not material things. It's not the superficial things outside. But what's on the inside, your attitude, your choice to live each day. Do you know that the space you live in also absorbs and reflects what you put into it? If you leave in your house full of anger, resentment, and arguments, that space will become stifling no matter how much you decorate it, no matter how gorgeous the exterior is. But if you know how to fill that place with love, forgiveness, kindness, and patience, it will become a place filled with peace. I am not telling you to turn your house into a perfect place without mistakes, but I want you to realize that you are the one who decides the atmosphere of that place. Ask yourself, are you living with empathy and understanding? When one of your relatives makes a mistake, do you treat them with forgiveness, or do you just focus on blaming? When a family member is weak, do you lend a helping hand, or turn away and abandon them? Your house will not be able to overflow with blessings if there is only indifference and coldness in it, because blessing is not something that can be forced or bribed, but a subtle flow that only comes when you know how to open your heart to welcome. Look at how you spend time with your loved ones. Are you really present when you are with them, or is your mind always distracted by meaningless things outside? There are too many people living under the same roof, but more distant than strangers. They talk to each other, but don't really listen. They are together, but don't feel connected. Don't let that happen to you. Don't let precious moments with family pass without leaving any trace in your heart, because at some point you will realize that it is not money, it is not fame, but the simple moments with loved ones are the most precious thing you ever had. Have you ever taken the time to look back at the small things in your house? Does your voice bring healing or just blaming words? Does your eyes reflect love or just indifference? Does your hand create or just destroy? Even the smallest things can affect the atmosphere of your home. When you walk in, Do you bring light or darkness? When you talk, do you sow seeds of hope or hurtful words? When you act, do you build or destroy? Don't wait for some miracle from the outside to make your house full of blessings. That miracle is within your reach. It is in how you choose to love even when you feel tired. It is in how you know how to be patient even when you want to get angry. It is in how you know how to forgive even when there are wounds in your heart. Each time you choose good, each time you choose right, each time you put love above everything else, is each time you're opening the door for my blessing to pour into your home. And when that happens, you will see a change that you never thought of. You will see conversations become more meaningful. You will see family meals are not just a forced thing, but a real joy. You'll see misunderstandings gradually fade away and hurts slowly heal. You'll find that your house isn't just a place to live, but a place where you truly belong. A place you always long to come back to. A place where I'm always with you. So, are you ready to receive that blessing? Not by waiting for an external change, but by starting within your own soul. Starting with the smallest actions you take today. Let me walk alongside you in every moment so that my blessing not only fills your home, but also spreads to everyone around you. Have you ever wondered why some families, despite going through so much, maintain their peace, while others, even with everything they could need, are constantly anxious and full of conflict? The difference isn't the external circumstances, but how you choose to deal with everything that happens in your home. If you want my blessing to fill your home, you need to understand that it doesn't just happen randomly. It requires you to cherish, appreciate, and build it every day. Look at how you react to challenges within your family. When there's a misunderstanding, do you seek to reconcile or let the cracks grow wider? When there's disagreement, do you listen or just try to defend your own opinion? When your loved ones are struggling, are you willing to support them, or are you only concerned with yourself? Blessing can't exist in a house where everyone only lives for themselves. It can only flourish where there is sharing, love, and compassion. Do you know the power of words? A gentle word can soothe a hurting heart, but a harsh word can leave a deep wound. When you speak, speak with love, even when you have to correct or advise someone. Words filled with anger and resentment will never bring real change. They'll only widen the gap between souls. But if you use your words to encourage, to lift up, to bring hope, you'll see my blessing begin to flow through every word you speak, changing not only you, but also those around you. Is your home a place filled with peace, or is it a place with constant arguments, accusations, and never-ending resentments? If you want my blessing to come in, you need to learn to control your emotions. Your anger can flare up quickly like a fire, but if you don't control it, it will consume the peace in your own home. There are times when you feel hurt, times when you feel wronged, but do you realize that you don't always need to react immediately? Learn to be patient, learn to wait, learn to forgive. Sometimes silence and love is more powerful than 1,000 arguments. A home filled with blessing isn't just a place of peace, but also a place of joy, where every member feels loved and valued. Do you make time to create memorable moments with your family? Are you willing to set aside work and other concerns to truly be present with your loved ones? The time you have with them isn't unlimited. If you don't do some things today, you might never get the chance to do them again. Remember that my blessing isn't something distant or hard to grasp. It doesn't depend on circumstances, but on you. When you change from the inside, you'll see everything around you begin to change as well. When you learn to love, you'll see love spread throughout your home. When you learn to forgive, you'll see wounds gradually heal. When you learn to give, you'll find that you receive more than you imagined. So, are you ready to turn your home into a place filled with blessing? Not by waiting for a miracle to happen, but by starting with the small things you can do right now, starting with a loving word, a caring action, a grateful attitude. When you do that, you'll see my blessing not only fill your home, but also spread to every place you go. Have you ever stopped to really look at your home? Not just the walls, the doors, or the furniture inside, but the invisible atmosphere that surrounds it, the warmth or coldness, the joy or sadness, the unity or division. Your home isn't just a shelter. It's the space where you and your loved ones build your lives, where love can blossom or be forgotten amid everyday worries. If you truly long for my blessing to fill your home, you need to learn how to make it worthy of that blessing. Think about how you start and end a day in your home. When you wake up in the morning, is your mind full of worries or overflowing with gratitude? When you come home after a day of work, do you bring peace or let frustration control your emotions? These small things may seem unimportant, but they contribute to the atmosphere in your home. If you sow frustration, anger, and complaining, your home will become a heavy place filled with tension. But if you sow patience, gratitude, and a cheerful spirit, you'll see everything become so much lighter and easier. My blessing doesn't come in an environment filled with negativity. If you want me to pour blessings into your home, you need to learn to remove what's blocking that flow. That could be criticism of each other, hurtful words, habits that unintentionally damage family relationships. Have you ever noticed that meaningless arguments can start from very small things? A thoughtless comment, an unintentional action, an impatient attitude. All of these things can turn your home into a stressful place if you don't control them. But if you choose gentleness instead of harshness, choose constructive words instead of attacks, you'll see how quickly things can change. It's not just how you treat your family, but what you allow into your home that affects the blessing I want to give you. What are you filling your mind with? Useless conversations, negative images, thoughts that separate you from peace? Do you know that the environment you create in your home will affect not only you, but also generations to come? If you fill your home with good things, with encouraging words, with the sounds of joy and love, you'll see my blessing flow unceasingly. Also, remember that a home filled with blessing isn't just a place of material prosperity. More importantly, it must be a place of wholeness of soul. Wealth doesn't guarantee happiness, but genuine love can fill every void. Some homes are simple, but warm because there's care, altruism, and sincere hugs. But some homes are full of amenities and empty because they lack understanding and connection. What kind of home do you really want yours to be? If you truly want my blessing to fill your home, you need to start by building a solid foundation based on love, respect, and sharing. Don't wait for a day in the future to start changing. Don't think that you'll love your family more when things get easier. The time to build blessing is right now. Let every day you live in your home be a valuable day, a day where you can give and receive love. When you do that, you won't have to look for blessing anywhere else because it will naturally flow in your home in every moment you live. Have you ever realized that every small action in your home can be a seed? A word, a look, a gesture, however simple, carries an invisible power that can create life or extinguish joy. When you walk into your home, do you bring warmth or heaviness? Do you give your family an atmosphere of love, or do you just leave behind distant silence? Day after day, those seemingly small things will determine whether your home becomes a place filled with blessing or not. Some homes look ordinary from the outside, but when you enter them, you can feel a strange peace. Some mansions are magnificent, but full of stuffiness. The difference isn't in the material things, but in the souls of the people who live there. If you let your heart be controlled by ambition, selfishness, and petty worries, your home will always be a place of calculations and tension. But if you put love above all else, you'll find that even when life isn't what you want, your home will still be the safest place you can return to. Think about the moments you spend with your family. When a loved one is talking, do you really listen, or is your mind still wandering elsewhere? When someone in your home needs help, are you willing to stop and care, or do you always put other priorities first? Family connection isn't built from big things, but from the everyday moments you cherish. Don't wait until you lose something to realize its value. Do you ever feel pressured when facing expectations from others? Do you ever feel that no matter how hard you try, there are still people who aren't happy with you? Remember that your job isn't to please everyone, but to live in a way that brings peace to your soul. In your home, you don't need to try to be someone that others want you to be, but you need to be the best version of yourself. Be a father, a mother, a child, a brother or sister who understands, who is tolerant, who sees each other's mistakes with compassion rather than criticism or blame. When you put yourself in someone else's shoes, you'll see that many things you thought were mistakes were just disagreements that need to be resolved with love. Also, don't forget that my blessing doesn't only come from what you receive, but from what you give. If you live only to seek your own benefit, you'll find your soul becoming increasingly empty. But if you learn to share, you'll find that in giving you receive more than you imagined. A word of encouragement can revive a tired soul. A smile can dispel a sad day. Forgiveness can save a relationship that seemed to have broken down. So what are you giving? Are you letting your home become a place filled with negative words, endless accusations, unnecessary frustrations? Or are you building it into a place where everyone feels peaceful when they come home? When you decide to open your heart, when you decide to love even when it's not easy, when you decide to see your loved ones with eyes of understanding rather than judgment, that's when you'll see my blessing not just in words, but clearly present in every moment you live. So, are you ready to change right now? Are you ready for your home to become not just a place to escape to, but a place of love, of healing, of joy? Are you ready to make every day you live there a full day, a day where you not only receive, but also know how to give? When you do that, you'll see that my blessing doesn't just come suddenly, but it's always there waiting for you to open your heart to receive it. Do you realize that the atmosphere in your home is determined by your attitude and spirit? A home isn't just built with bricks and mortar. It's also formed from love, care, and sincerity. Every day, you contribute to creating that environment. If you wake up with a soul full of anxiety, irritability, or frustration, you'll unintentionally sow those things into your living space. But if you wake up with gratitude, with an awareness of appreciating what you have, you'll see everything around you has a new meaning. Think often about family meals. They're not just meals to sustain life, but opportunities to connect with loved ones. But do you often sit down with your mind still preoccupied with your own thoughts? Do you listen to your loved ones' stories just to answer superficially without really caring? Or do you ever bring outside stress to the table, making the atmosphere heavy? If you realize that, stop. Let meals become a time of joy, of sharing, of words that warm each other's hearts. When you appreciate simple moments like that, you'll see that my blessing isn't far away, but is present in every moment you live. Let your home become a place where everyone feels safe when they come home. There are so many people out there who are lost, hurt, and longing for a place where they can find comfort. But sadly, many people can't find that even in their own homes. The reason may not be lack of material things, but the indifference of those who live together. If you want my blessing to fill your home, you must learn to see each other, listen to each other, and accept each other. Not everyone is perfect. Not everyone can understand all of each other's thoughts. But if you're willing to put your ego down to learn how to love, you'll see your home become different. One of the things that makes a family strong is forgiveness. None of you has never made a mistake. None of you has never hurt each other, whether intentionally or unintentionally. But if you keep those things in your heart, if you let resentment control your thoughts, you'll turn your home into a place of wounds that can't heal. Forgiveness isn't forgetting, nor is it ignoring every mistake without facing it. Forgiveness is deciding not to let the hurts of the past control your present and future. When you learn to forgive, you not only free others, but you'll be freed as well. Also, have you ever noticed that some homes, even without anything luxurious, are always full of joy? Conversely, some places, even with material abundance, lack peace. Because happiness doesn't come from what you own, but from your attitude towards life. If you only ever look at what you don't have, you'll see your home is poor. But if you appreciate what you have, if you're thankful for the small but meaningful things, you'll realize that your home is already filled with blessing that you may not have seen before. And remember that no home naturally becomes a place of blessing. All of them need to be built, nurtured every day. Don't wait for a miracle to happen. Start with yourself. Let your heart become a place of love, peace, and sharing. When you do that, your home won't just be a place of shelter, but will become a part of my kingdom, where blessing pours unceasingly. Have you ever wondered why some homes, though small and simple, feel so peaceful when you enter them? Conversely, some mansions are magnificent and luxurious, but filled with cold, empty spaces. Because a home isn't just built with material things, but with what is invisible: spirit, love, connection between those who live there. If you want my blessing to overflow on your home, you need to learn how to build that space with good things that come from your heart. Think about the words you speak every day. Words are as powerful as actions. A loving word can revive a soul, but a bitter word can hurt more deeply than any wound on the skin. Is your home filled with words of encouragement or just accusations and blame? Do you often praise and express gratitude to your loved ones? Or do you take for granted that what they do is their duty, their obligation? A sincere thank you, a gentle word at the right time, can change the entire atmosphere in your family. When you appreciate each other, when you show gratitude, your home will become a place filled with light, where each member feels valued. But words alone aren't enough, because love isn't just expressed in words, but also in actions. Do you care about the small things in the lives of your loved ones? Do you notice when someone is sad? Do you take the time to listen to them, or are you just rushing around with your own busyness? Love doesn't necessarily have to be big things, but is expressed in simple but sincere gestures. A meal prepared with care, a hug when someone needs comfort, help when they're tired. Your home can't overflow with blessing if those in it don't know how to care for each other, don't know how to put others above themselves. When you live with kindness, when you don't just think of yourself, but also of the joy and sadness of others, that's when you're opening the door for my blessing to pour out on your family. And one more important thing that you may have forgotten: is your home a place of peace? Too many people let the stress and worries of outside life invade their living space. They bring pressure from work, disappointments from the world, and vent it on their loved ones. They forget that home isn't a place to continue fighting, but a place to be comforted, to find themselves again. Do you often bring your anger home? Do you let meaningless arguments damage the relationships between those closest to you? If you don't know how to maintain peace in your own home, even if I give you many blessings, you won't be able to feel them. Learn to let go of what's not worth it. Let disputes stop before they become cracks that can't be healed. My blessing isn't just what you can see with your eyes. It's not the abundance of money. It's not the success outside of society, but the true fulfillment in your soul. When you know how to love, know how to appreciate, know how to maintain peace, you'll see that what you have is already fuller than anything else out there. And then, no matter where your home is, whether it's big or small, rich or simple, it will still be the place where I am present, where my blessing always overflows and never diminishes. There are things that you often overlook, habits that seem small but shape the destiny of your home. A home full of blessing isn't a home without trials or storms, but a home with a solid foundation to stand firm amidst any changes. If you let pride and selfishness rule, if you let indifference and apathy reign, it won't be long before that house is just a place to live, not a home. But if you let love and kindness be the root, if you take sincerity and sacrifice as the foundation, even if the world changes, your home will still be a place full of blessing. Look back at how you talk to the people in your family. Do your words bring encouragement or just sow disappointment? Do you take the time to listen, or do you just judge quickly? Some people are very successful and skillful with outsiders, but when they come home, they don't know how to love their loved ones. They give their best words to strangers, but are harsh with those closest to them. They're patient with colleagues, but lose their temper with parents, spouses, children. My child, a word can build up, but can also destroy. Don't let the words you speak become knives that unintentionally hurt those who love you most. Remember that your presence in your family is a gift. You're not there randomly. I put you in that place so that you can bring light. Never think that what you do in your family is meaningless. A hug, a word of encouragement, a look of sympathy, all of those things may seem small, but they have the power to heal. If you see your family drifting apart, don't wait for others to change first. Be the one to start. Take the initiative to give love, even if you're not sure others will respond. Your home can be filled with blessing when it's a place that contains gratitude. Do you often stop to feel what you have? Or are you just always pursuing what's missing? When a family loses gratitude, they become dissatisfied, always feeling lacking even with a lot in their hands. But when you appreciate what you have, you'll see abundance even in the simplest things. A simple meal can become a feast if there's joy in the heart. A small house can be paradise if there's love in it. But a magnificent home can also become hell if it's full of dissatisfaction, arguments, and bitterness. Don't let worldly ambitions blind you, making you no longer see the value of simple things. I see people spending their whole lives chasing fame, money, and power. But when they achieve those things, they realize they've lost their family. Don't let yourself become one of them. Don't let things outside be more important than the people inside your home. When you appreciate your family, you'll see that happiness isn't in faraway things, but right in your hands. My blessing will fill your home when you know how to live with reverence and turn your heart towards holiness. Don't let your mind be filled with meaningless things, fleeting desires, squabbles over gain and loss. Don't let temptations pull you away from the path of light. A home with blessing isn't just a home with harmony, but also a home with my presence. When you walk into your house, do you feel peace, or do you just see an empty space where souls are gradually becoming strangers to each other? Remember that blessing doesn't come from what you own, but from how you live. When you live with humility, when you care about others, when you live truthfully and keep your soul pure, that's when my blessing will pour out. Let your home become a place where light reigns, where there's no room for deceit, hatred, or selfishness. When you do that, you'll see that no trial can defeat you. No storm can shake the foundation of your family, because you've built it on the solid ground of love and trust. Have you ever wondered why some homes, despite going through so many ups and downs, despite facing difficult challenges, still stand strong and are full of warmth? But some homes, even rich and abundant in material things, become cold, empty places with no real joy. My blessing can't be measured by the money you own, by the size of the house you live in, or by the superficial things you show off to others. My blessing is something deep inside. The power to preserve, protect, and transform your home into a place full of life. A home built on the foundation of forgiveness will never be destroyed by bitterness and hatred. Do you know why so many families break apart? It's not because they lack material things. It's not because they don't spend enough time together, but because they don't know how to forgive. When a careless word causes hurt, when a thoughtless action creates pain, if you don't forgive, if you let your heart fill with resentment, it won't be long before the distance between you and your loved ones grows wider and wider. A home without forgiveness is a stifling home, where everyone wears a cold, distant mask. But when you know how to forgive, when you put love above your own pride, when you choose to heal instead of blame, that's when my blessings begin to overflow in your family. Let patience be the wall protecting your home. Life isn't always going to go the way you want it to, and your loved ones aren't always going to behave the way you expect them to. There will be times when you feel disappointed, times when you feel weary with misunderstandings, differences, repeated mistakes. But my child, don't be quick to give up. Don't easily throw in the towel. Every relationship needs patience to grow, to develop, and to deepen. When you're patient enough to see the good in others, when you're patient enough to wait for a change instead of rushing to judgment, that's when you're laying the foundation for a strong, blessed home. A blessed home is a home filled with unity. Don't let division creep into your family. Don't let small differences become huge obstacles. Don't let pride keep you from bending down and listening. When there's disagreement, look for ways to build up, not tear down. When there's an argument, try to understand each other instead of just trying to prove that you're right. A family without unity will slowly become people living under the same roof, but no longer sharing the same heartbeat. They may eat a meal together, but each one is lost in their own thoughts. They may sit together in a room, but each one has turned their back on the others. That's not the home I desire for you. Let faithfulness hold firm the foundation of your home. Faithfulness isn't just about marital fidelity. It's about sincerity in all your relationships. When you speak, speak truthfully. When you make a promise, keep it. When you place your trust in someone, live in a way that earns their trust in return. A home where members no longer trust each other. A home where everyone hides their own secrets. A home where dishonesty is seen as normal. That's a home that is gradually losing its blessings. Let gratitude be the light shining in your home. If every day you wake up and only think about what you don't have, you'll always feel lacking. But if you learn to see what you've already been given, you'll see that you're living in abundance. When you're grateful for your parents, you'll love them more. When you're grateful for your spouse, you'll cherish them more. When you're grateful for your children, you'll be more patient in how you raise them. A home filled with gratitude has no room for complaining, no room for envy, no room for discontent. And then, my blessings will pour down on your family like rain refreshing dry ground. My child, don't look for my blessings in faraway places. Don't think you have to have a perfect life, a flawless family, a trouble-free situation to receive blessings. My blessings don't come from perfection, but from a heart willing to change, from a spirit ready to welcome me into every hidden corner of your home. When you know how to love even when you've been hurt, when you know how to build up even when you feel tired, when you know how to trust even when you haven't seen the results yet, that's when my blessings begin to work in your life. Let your home become a place of warmth, where others can find peace, where you yourself can feel holiness and joy. Then, you won't have to go looking for happiness elsewhere, because happiness will already be right there within your reach, in every look, every smile, every moment you get to live in my love and grace. Have you ever thought that a home can carry within it the breath of life? Every brick, every wall, every little corner in your home isn't just lifeless material. They carry with them the echo of what you've sown into it. A home filled with arguing and anger will retain heavy vibrations, making people's hearts grow cold. But a home filled with prayer, kindness, and gracious words will radiate peace, making anyone who enters feel the difference. My blessing isn't just something you feel in your soul, but is a reality that can be touched, that can spread to every nook and cranny of your living space. Try to look back at how you live each day. Do the words you say to your loved ones bring encouragement or not? Do your actions sow the seeds of love, or do they only create distance? Sometimes you think that the small things don't matter, but they are the ones that determine the atmosphere in your home. A hug instead of a reprimand, some patience instead of hasty condemnation, a smile instead of a cold stare. These things seem simple, but they're the doors that open the way for my blessings to enter. You can't build a solid home if you don't know how to lay down the right foundations. I've seen many people spend their whole lives chasing after flashy things, but they ignore the true value of maintaining their home. They're obsessed with finding money, but they don't take the time to talk to their loved ones. They pursue fame, but they don't care about the people they're living with. They want to build castles on sand without realizing that even a small storm is enough to sweep everything away. My blessings aren't for homes built on shaky foundations, but are for those who know how to seek lasting values: sincerity, reverence, kindness, and unconditional love. Do you know what's keeping my blessings from overflowing in your home? No, it's not poverty, it's not challenges, it's not things outside, but it's your attitude towards life. If you're always complaining, always finding fault in others, always seeing yourself as the center and forgetting the needs of others, then you're building invisible walls that are preventing yourself from receiving blessings. But if you're grateful even in difficult circumstances, if you look for the good instead of just focusing on shortcomings, if you listen instead of just wanting to talk, then you'll see that my blessings are never absent. Learn how to give. Many people think that when they have a lot, they can give. But I tell you, it's when you know how to give from the smallest things that you truly enter the flow of abundance. A word of encouragement, an act of care, selfless help. These are small seeds, but they can sprout great harvests. A home with people who are willing to give is a home that will never lack, because my blessing is always present where there is generosity. Don't let envy destroy your space. When you compare your home to other people's homes, when you look at what others have and forget about what you possess, you'll always feel dissatisfied. But if you know how to appreciate what you have, if you rejoice in the joy of others instead of envying, if you know how to love instead of hating, then you'll see that the space you're living in will become lighter and more pleasant. Remember that a home doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be luxurious, but if it has peace and love, then it's already a palace in my sight. Do you ever feel that your home is empty, even though everything around you is sufficient? That's because you might have all the material things, but if you lack my presence, you'll still feel lacking. Many people run after temporary pleasures, but in the end, they realize that those things can't fill the void in their hearts. My blessings aren't something you can count with numbers, but are fulfillment in the soul, wholeness in relationships, peace that can't be bought. Open the door of your heart to welcome me. Let me enter your home. Enter the dark corners that you don't want anyone to see. Let me change the things that you think can't be changed. When you're ready to let me do that, you'll see a big difference in your home, from the way you treat your loved ones, from the atmosphere at every meal, from the words you say every day. All will be transformed when my blessings are poured out. So stop for a moment and look around your home. Is this a place where you feel at peace? Is this a place where you feel loved? Is this a place that you really want to return to after the hustle and bustle of life? If the answer is no, then don't worry, because I'm ready to change that. I'm ready to make everything new if you let me act. Start with yourself, from the way you think, from the way you speak, from the way you behave. When you change, everything around you will also change. And then, my blessings will not only flood your home, but will also flow through you to reach those around you. Have you ever noticed that a small lamp can still dispel the darkness in a large room? Likewise, a little change and you can create a big change in your home. Don't think that you have to do great things right away, but start with things that are very small but persistent. A sincere prayer, a loving look, patience when others make you angry. All of those are the first rays of light to lead my blessings to your space. Ask your heart, what are you bringing to those around you? Are you sowing the seeds of peace or discord? Are you a creator of love, or do you only focus on the mistakes of others? If you continue to let anger reign, if you continue to let envy rule your soul, then you're building walls that separate you from your loved ones. On the contrary, if you learn to forgive, learn to put others before your own interests, then you are creating a solid foundation for my blessings to flow unceasingly. A home cannot stand strong if there is a lack of connection between its members. Do you spend time listening to your loved ones? Or do you just talk but don't really understand what they're thinking? Often what a person needs isn't empty advice, but just someone who is willing to listen to them so they can express their innermost thoughts. If you know how to create an environment where everyone feels understood, then you'll see that peace will be present in your own home. Remember that my blessings cannot dwell in a home full of bitter words, negative thoughts, or selfish actions. Don't let negative things control the atmosphere in your home. If you find yourself easily angered, learn to restrain yourself. If you find yourself often criticizing, learn to look at the good in others. If you find yourself often complaining, learn to be grateful. These small changes, if you persevere in doing them, will open the door for me to enter and completely transform your space. Have you ever thought that your home can also be a place for others to find joy and comfort? Don't just close the door to live an isolated life. Let your home become a place where those who are suffering can find support, those who are lost can find light, and those who are despairing can find hope. When you know how to share your joy with others, when you are willing to open your arms to welcome those who need help, then you will see that my blessings will not only stop in your home, but will also spread to those around you. Let me take control of your space so that every room, every corner in your home is sanctified by my presence. When you step out of your home, you will bring that peace with you to the world. When you return home, You will see a place full of love and warmth. And then you will no longer have to worry, no longer have to be concerned that you're losing something, because you will know for sure that my blessings are covering you and will never leave you. Do you know that every action, every word, and every thought of yours creates an invisible atmosphere around your home? Some people always feel peaceful and happy when they return home, but there are also those who always feel suffocated, stressed, as if they are living in a never-ending battlefield. So, where does the difference lie? It's in how you build that space and how you let me enter and occupy this place. If you only care about decorating the exterior, but let the cracks in your soul go untreated, sooner or later there will come a day when you see everything collapse. But if you know how to care for it from the foundation, cultivate it from the small things, then your home will become a strong fortress that nothing can shake. Are you creating a place where family members feel safe when they come home? Or are you letting the reproaches, criticisms, suspicions, and resentments shatter every piece of love? Some people think that they can keep peace in their hearts, but still live with bitterness. But my child, that is impossible. Your soul and the environment you live in always reflect each other. If your heart is full of calculations and worries, how can you create a real home? But if you let me guide you, if you let love lead the way, then you will see that even the hardest hearts will gradually be transformed. Don't let small conflicts become a fire that burns everything down. Learn to control your anger. Don't let a moment of anger destroy the good things that you have worked so hard to build. When you are angry, you can say words that hurt others, and even if you regret it later, the wounds that you leave in their hearts may never completely disappear. But if you know how to be patient, know how to listen, know how to put yourself in the position of others, then you will realize that many things that you once thought were infuriating are actually just small misunderstandings. Are you cherishing the loved ones around you? Or do you only see them as a familiar part of life? And then only when you lose them do you realize how important they are? Don't wait until that day. Love them while you still can. A hug, a word of encouragement, a small act of care can make a big difference. Don't let work and outside pressures make you forget that your home is not just a place to live, but a place to be true to yourself, to be healed, to be loved, and also a place where you can bring my love to others. Have you ever thought that every morning you wake up is an opportunity to start over again? No matter what mistakes you made yesterday, no matter what words you said that you shouldn't have said, today is still a new beginning. Don't let the past bind you in regret. Let me come in and change you from the inside so that you can walk with freedom, so that you can speak words that bring healing, and so that every day you live is a day that my blessings are poured out on you. Have you ever thought that your home is also a place to practice gratitude? Be grateful that you have a place to return to. Be grateful that you have loved ones to love. Be grateful that you still have the opportunity to change. When you look at life with gratitude, you will see that the things that you previously thought were burdens are actually priceless gifts. When you appreciate what you have, you will realize that I have always been there, have always given you more than you imagined. And then, my blessings will not only fill your home, but will also overflow throughout your life. Have you ever realized that what you choose to listen to each day is also shaping the atmosphere in your home? The words you say, the stories you share, the thoughts that you keep in your heart, all have the power to transform the environment that you're living in. If you only hear complaints, if you only hear about negative things, then soon your soul will also be dyed in dark colors. But if you turn your heart towards the truth, if you choose to listen to things that build up and encourage, then you will see that even when difficulties arise, you can still maintain a peaceful state of mind. Every morning when you open your eyes, do you ask yourself what will guide your day? Is it the hustle and bustle, the pressures from life, or the belief that I'm always with you? If you start the day with worry and fear, you will see that the whole day passes in fatigue and anxiety. But if you start with hope, with the belief that everything that happens is in my hands, then you will have the strength to face all challenges. Your home will no longer be a place filled with sighs and frowns, but will become a peaceful place where everyone who enters can feel my presence. Have you ever wondered why some homes are so simple but so incredibly warm, while others are so luxurious but still cold and empty? The secret isn't in the material things, but in how you build love. If each member of your family knows how to be considerate, knows how to cherish each other, then even if you live in a small house, you will still feel happy. But if in your home there is only selfishness and competition, then even if you live in a palace, your heart will be lonely. Don't let the fleeting things outside determine the atmosphere in your family. Let love be the foundation, and you will see all the difference. Have you ever thought about how you use your words? Words can be a tool to bring encouragement, to uplift, to heal, but they can also be weapons to hurt, to tear down, to make others sad. A careless word can leave deep wounds, but a word of encouragement at the right time can change a whole life. When you open your mouth, ask yourself if these words bring light. Are they helpful to the listener, or do they only make things worse? If you learn to control your words, if you choose to use your words to sow good seeds, then you will see your home become a place full of peace and joy. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the smallest things bring the biggest impact? A smile instead of a frown, a hug instead of a reproach, a little patience instead of a burst of anger. Those things seem small, but when repeated every day, they will create a big change. If you want your home to be full of blessings, don't just expect big things to happen. Start with the simplest things: a heart that knows how to love, hands that are ready to help, a generous heart. When you live like that, my blessings will pour down on you unceasingly. And finally, do you know what is most important? It's whether you're willing to let me enter and take control of your home. If you only want me to bless you but don't want to live according to my guidance, then that blessing won't last long. But if you let me lead, if you trust me not only in easy times but also in difficult times, then you will see that your home is not just a place to live, but will become a sacred temple where my light always reigns. And then, not only will you be transformed, but everyone around you will also be touched by my love. Have you ever wondered why some people maintain peace even after going through so many trials, while others always feel empty even when living in plenty? The secret lies not in what's outside, but in how your soul is nourished. If you allow your heart to be dominated by worries, fears, and discontent, you will never see my blessings. But if you learn to turn your heart towards things that are higher and greater, you will see that even in the most difficult circumstances, there is still a light shining the way for you. Your home is not just where you live, but it's also a space that reflects your own soul. If you want my blessings to fill that place, you need to know how to preserve it and protect it from things that defile it. Don't let negative words, useless arguments, actions that hurt each other become a part of your family life. Don't let selfishness creep into every relationship, making loved ones a burden instead of a source of joy. I want you to remember that nothing is too small for me not to see, and nothing is too big for me not to change. Even if you think that the things I teach are difficult to do, if you start step by step, you will see that everything is possible if you believe. If you believe that your heart cannot change, that your home cannot be different, that your circumstances are hopeless, then you have limited my power. But if you open your heart, if you believe that I can do what you think is impossible, you will see miracles happen. And then you will no longer just hear about my blessings as something far away, but you will live in those blessings every day. Have you ever wondered why some people maintain joy even after going through so many trials, while others always feel empty even when they don't lack anything? The secret lies not in what's outside, but in how your soul is nourished. If you allow your heart to be dominated by worries, fears, and discontent, you will never see my blessings. But if you learn to turn your heart towards things that are higher and greater, you will see that even in the most difficult circumstances, there is still a light shining the way for you. Your home is not just where you live, but it's also a space that reflects your own soul. If you want my blessings to fill that place, you need to know how to preserve it and protect it from things that defile it. Don't let negative words, useless arguments, actions that hurt each other become a part of your family life. Don't let selfishness creep into every relationship, making loved ones a burden instead of a source of joy. Let me guide you in how you treat your parents, siblings, spouse, children, and friends. When you learn to put others before yourself, when you show generosity and grace in your love, you'll see a big change in your home. It won't just be a place to live anymore. It'll become a haven of peace and grace. I don't promise that your path will always be smooth, but I promise that if you walk with me, you'll never have to walk alone. You'll feel my hand lifting you up when you're at your weakest. You'll hear my voice whispering in your soul when you need guidance. But to hear me, you need to make room for me in your life. If you're too busy with worries, too caught up in fleeting pleasures, you won't realize that I'm always there. Learn to be still. Make time to listen to what your soul truly needs. When you seek me, not just because you want something, but because you genuinely long to be close to me, you'll see an amazing transformation happen within you. A lot of people think blessings are just good things that come their way. But have you ever considered that some of the challenges I allow to happen are also hidden blessings? Sometimes, I let you go through a difficult time not because I want you to suffer, but because I want you to grow, to become stronger, and to see the true value of what you have. If you only want an easy life, you'll never understand what true faith is. But if you dare to face challenges with courage, you'll realize that you're not alone, and that even in the darkest moments, my light is waiting for you. Let my blessings flow into your life, not just through what you receive, but through the way you live. Let kindness and gratitude be your guiding lights. Let everything you say, everything you do, and every decision you make each day reflect the love you've received from me. Then you'll see that a blessing isn't just something you have, it's something you become. And when you become a source of light, you won't just keep the blessing to yourself. You'll spread it to those around you, turning your home into a place of true grace and peace. Do you know what makes a home strong? Not just physically, but in the hearts of the people who live there? It's not the high walls or the strong doors, but the foundation of love and my presence in everything you do. When you build your home on sacred values, when you make room for me in every decision you make, when you don't let your heart be filled with things that are fleeting and superficial, you'll see that my blessing isn't just some far-off concept, but a clear reality in your life. But remember, blessings aren't always what you see or hear. Don't think that blessings only come when you get what you want or when you avoid all suffering. There are times when you won't immediately recognize the blessings I give you, because they don't come in the way you expect. Sometimes, I take something away from your life, not because I want to hurt you, but because I want to give you something better. But to receive that, you have to have faith. If you keep holding on to what you think is best for you, you'll miss the miracles I have in store for you. Try to look back on those times when you felt like a door was closing in your face. Maybe you were desperate, resentful, and thought I wasn't with you anymore. But did you realize that another door opened afterwards? That a new path appeared? And that you learned things that you would never have realized without that challenge? That's how I work in your life. Sometimes the blessing isn't avoiding the hardship, but finding meaning within it. Ask yourself what's residing in your home. Harmony, love, forgiveness, or arguments, resentment, and hate? If you want my blessings to fill that place, you can't just hope for it without changing. You can't want peace, but let pride get in the way of forgiveness. You can't expect abundance, but not know how to use what you have wisely. You can't ask me to give you joy while you choose to live in complaint and dissatisfaction. Blessings don't just come from asking. They come from being willing to become someone who can receive them. If you want peace, learn to build peace with your words and actions. If you want to be loved, know how to give love, not just to those who are easy to love, but also to those who are the hardest to love. If you want abundance, learn to be grateful and manage what you already have, because a heart full of gratitude will always be fertile ground for blessings to grow. I don't promise you that this journey will be easy, but I promise that if you put your faith in me, you'll never have to face anything alone. Let me enter your home, not just as a guest, but as the Lord. Let my word be a light to guide your way. Let my love be the foundation for all your relationships. Then you'll see that my blessing isn't just an abstract concept. It's something you can feel every day in the eyes of your loved ones, in the joy of sharing, in the peace when you lay your head down to rest without worry. You don't need to wait for some time in the future to receive my blessing. You can start right now by changing the smallest thing in your thoughts and actions. Let me lead you, and you'll see that even the things that seem the smallest can become doors that lead you to the great blessings I have prepared for you. Have you ever stopped to reflect that a home isn't just a refuge, but also a treasure trove of memories, of traditions that have been shaped over generations? A place that preserves the story of ancestors and the unfulfilled dreams of the present? Each piece of decoration, each painting on the wall, each family meal contains a message about the past, about lasting values that you can reap and pass on to future generations. If you know how to listen to the echoes of history and welcome good memories, your home will become a place connecting pieces of time, bringing a sense of warmth and pride. Imagine that in every moment when you and your loved ones gather around a meal, when you share old stories and draw new dreams together, you're contributing to creating a space full of creative energy and hope, where each person feels the value of themselves. Daily rituals, small habits such as cleaning together, cooking together, or laughing together are not just simple activities, but also the way you turn your home into a place imbued with the spirit of solidarity and the warmth of family affection. Let those activities become the foundation for a great change, where each action, no matter how small, contributes to building a radiant overall picture of life, a belief in a bright future. Not only that, open your heart to explore new values from art, from music, from culture that you can bring into your home. Let melodious tunes, meaningful poems, unique artworks spark a fire of creativity in your soul, turning every small corner into a space full of inspiration and positive energy. When you dare to connect with beauty and creativity, you will realize that each passing day is an opportunity to innovate, to give wings to the dreams of yourself and your family, to turn your home into a vivid painting of faith and aspiration. Also remember that taking care of yourself is no less important. When you know how to make time for yourself to relax, to think, and to find joy in simple things, you will feel the revival of your spirit, and from there you can spread that positive energy to everyone around you. A soul nurtured by self-care will become healthy, wise, and always ready to face challenges, turning each difficulty into an opportunity to grow. Treat each challenge, each difficulty as a valuable lesson, an opportunity to find the hidden strength within, to learn from your own mistakes and turn them into the foundation for solid steps in the future. When you face those challenges with courage and perseverance, you will realize that your home is not only a physical place, but also a place where the soul is nurtured, inspired by courage and the will to rise. Never underestimate the power of small daily efforts, because those efforts will make a big difference over time. Open your heart to not only care about yourself, but also towards the community, towards the people around you. When you know how to share, help, and listen to souls in need of comfort, you will see that your home is not only a private place, but also a place connecting strong relationships, where each member contributes to creating a network of mutual support. Then blessings will not only stop at your home, but will spread everywhere, turning each communication, each meeting into an opportunity to give joy and sharing. Believe that change begins with the most humble and sincere actions, from the way you smile at those around you, from the way you share a meal, from the way you spend time on meaningful conversations. Those simple things, if cherished and maintained, will create a solid foundation for a fulfilling life, for a home always filled with positive emotions and vibrant vitality. And then you will realize that each person, each family, each home can become a precious gem in the global picture of life, where each soul is nourished with love, respect, and belief in a better tomorrow. Let your heart be wide open. Allow me to help you make all your dreams come true, and then nothing can stop blessings from spreading not only in your home, but in your whole life. Have you ever wondered why there are people who, despite experiencing so many storms, still maintain peace in their hearts? While there are people who, despite living in luxury, never stop worrying and feeling insecure? The secret lies not in external circumstances, but in my presence in their souls. When you let me enter your life, when you let my love and guidance shape the way you think and act, nothing can take that peace away from you. But if you let your heart be swept away by worldly things, endless ambitions, invisible fears, pressures, and competitions, you will always feel empty, even though it may seem like you have everything. My blessing is not just things you see or touch, but also things that sink deep into your heart, transforming you from within. If you want your home to be filled with blessings, start with your own soul. You cannot build a solid house if its foundation is shaky. You cannot expect harmony if your heart is always full of suspicion and resentment. You cannot expect prosperity if you do not know how to use what you have with gratitude. Let me teach you how to live not in the way the world teaches you, but in the way I prepared for you from when you were created. Look back at yourself and ask yourself what is hindering my blessing in your heart. What fears are keeping you from walking in faith? What burdens are you carrying that you should have entrusted to me? Remember that my blessing is not a burden, but liberation. When you let me remove the invisible chains that are binding you, worries about the future, hurts of the past, negative thoughts, you will realize that my blessing does not only come from what you have, but from the very freedom that you find when you place your trust in me. Your home can be the most peaceful place or a place filled with nameless fatigue. The difference is not in the material things inside it, but in how you build relationships with the people who live there. If you want my blessing to fill your home, learn to love unconditionally. Learn to be patient, learn to listen, learn to forgive. Do not let harsh words hurt your loved ones. Do not let anger destroy what you have worked hard to build. Do not let cold silence become a wall between you and those you love. Did you know that your words have power? Every word you say can bring life or can hurt deeply. If you want my blessing to cover your home, use your words to encourage, to build, to bring healing. Let your words be a guiding light instead of a fire that consumes everything. When you know how to use your words to bring peace, you will see that peace return to you, and that is one of the great blessings that I want to bestow upon you. I know that there are times when you feel tired. There are days when you return home with a broken heart. Life may not always be smooth, and there will be times when you feel like everything is against you. But remember that I am always here, even in those moments when you think I am silent. I see your tears. I understand your worries. I know what you're trying to endure. Do not let temporary difficulties obscure the most important thing, that you never have to face everything alone. My blessing is not only for times when you are strong, but also for times when you are at your weakest. When you feel exhausted, let me be the place where you find rest. When you feel lost, let me lead you. When you feel lonely, remember that I have never left you. Sometimes I don't eliminate the storm immediately, but I will give you the strength to stand firm in that storm. Do not be afraid because I am holding your hand. Do not despair because I have a plan for you, and that plan is always better than what you can imagine. Let me enter your home not just as a visiting guest, but as the Lord. Let my love transform the way you view life, the way you love, the way you face challenges. When you live in my guidance, you will see that my blessings are not just distant things, but things that you feel every day in peace, in joy, in gratitude, in small but precious moments with loved ones. So open your heart. Let me do my work in your life. Let my blessing fill not only your home, but every thought, every word, every action of yours. Let me be with you, and you will see that nothing can compare to the things I have prepared for you. Amen.